Hello, Ocean Warriors. I am glad you are here today. We are here to talk to Angie Warrior, and she is with We Love the Sea. And we're going to learn all about what she does to help the environment, to help our youth plant some seeds and get some new ocean warriors out there. Hi, Angie. Welcome today.
Hi, thank you for asking me to join you today.
Well, it's wonderful to have you. We love what you're doing, and we love that there's another ocean warrior out there across the world that is planting the seeds to get more ocean warriors. We really need it. The ocean needs our help.
Absolutely. And the fact that my name is Warrior is even more amazing.
I found that fitting, yes, because we have our Ocean Warrior Youth Ambassador program, and I found it so fitting. So this is meant to be. So, well, anyway, tell us a little about how, can you share your inspiration behind founding We Love the Sea? How did that come about? How was your personal journey getting there?
Sure. It's funny because, I was working in shark science for quite a long time and classed myself as a pretty serious scientist. I had my goals of where I wanted to go, and I've been doing a lot of internships all over the world and been to some amazing places like Bimini Biological Field Station, and I had my heart set on studying great hammerheads. And then when I was at Bimini, I met a gentleman called Michael Scholl, who was the CEO for Save Our Seas. And he just became my mentor, and he gave me a lot of advice on how to get, how to do well in my career and a lot of contacts. And then I met him at a conference, a European Elasmobranch conference in 2016. I met up with him, and he was telling me about this amazing project that he wanted to do in South Africa, and it was a marine explorer program. And he wanted to develop it, and he was looking for somebody a little bit quirky to go and do stuff with the kids. And he was like, it can't be someone like me because I look old and funny. He's not old at all. He's like my age.
A little too serious.
Yeah, and he was like, and you've got pink hair, Ange. And I did have at the time. And he was like, they're gonna love it. Pink hair, tattoos, they're gonna love it. So, and I was just a bit reluctant. I was like, me and kids. And honestly, Kimberly, I didn't even like kids. I was like, kids, yeah, they're very cute, but they're not for me. And so, but the South Africa experience was calling me. The Cape Town experience, the white sharks. And so I agreed to it, and I started working at the Save Our Seas Shark Education Center. And basically, I was helping them to on the program with the kids, and then they had an outside, a kind of side project with kids from the townships. So they chose a school from the poorest, one of the poorest areas in Cape Town, and they chose 10 kids to put them on the program. And these kids, these kids were from areas where there was no money, and, they were probably more concerned about like where they were going to get their next meal from rather than even thinking about marine conservation. So they came up with a very clever plan of teaching them to surf first. So yeah, surfing, and then the idea was to teach them to snorkel and then start with the marine education. And so they turned up on their first day, and there were 10 boys, 2 girls, and they were like 10 and 11 years old, and I was scared of them.
That is a scary thing. That is a scary thing because of different energies. You don't know which one to go for.
Exactly. And I was not used to working with kids at all. I've run my own programs where I've worked with older students in many countries, and like 20, 21-year-olds, and I was totally fine with that. But these were 10 and 11-year-olds, and I was so nervous, but I didn't need to be, because they were wonderful. They were just wonderful. After the first day of putting them in the water with a surfboard, they were already showing signs of just being like totally hooked on the ocean. And after working with them for 6 months, they were in the kelp forest, going down and grabbing, you know, seaweed and little kelp, and just like really having a good time, and just that total physical connection with everything. And you know, it was just the most beautiful experience, and it changed my life because I could see like what's the impact that we can have in even on kids that are so under resourced, and you know, that's not their priority, but it all of a sudden became their priority because of
Right.
that connection that they had.
Given your expertise in shark conservation, what do you believe is the most pressing challenges with the sharks that we're currently facing right now?
Well, definitely overfishing. 75% of all sharks now are endangered, and 100% of them are affected by overfishing. And then there's bycatch and habitat degradation with coastal development, ghost nets, plastic, you know, the list goes on and on. But I also truly believe that fear, lack of education, and you know, just people not understanding them is actually one of the reasons why we're finding it really hard to turn it around and protect them. Um, so that's why I focus a lot of my stuff on sharks. You know, I don't do so much shark research anymore, but anything that I do, I try to change the perception, really work on changing the perception, because, you know, the people don't think twice to go out and buy, I don't know, face creams with squalene in it, because they don't understand
Right.
the the importance of sharks. But once you explain it to them, and even tell them, like, you know, that's got squalene in it, do you know where that comes from? Or do you, that leather that you're wearing, that's shark leather, did you know that? And then you go into the importance of sharks.
Right.
You know, it's, you're starting to make a little difference. And if, you know, it's by changing people's ideas of sharks and actually letting them know that we need them in the ocean, will start to have an impact, you know.
So knowledge is the biggest challenge because of,
Knowledge is power, yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
Do you feel that it's mostly because of the films that are out there from the media, or are you just lack of knowledge in general that's available to the public?
You know, whenever I talk to people about sharks, like for example, I do an adult marine biology club and
Right.
snorkel club every week. And the other day I said, I want to do a myth busting class on sharks. And I
Okay.
had like about 10 ladies, they're all in their 60s. And you know, and I said, what do you think about sharks? And they all started with, well, you know, I saw Jaws. And ever since then, I've just been super scared of them. And so, you know, Jaws is, it's such an old film, but it's just still in
Still
everyone's
there.
minds, you
Exactly.
know? And then obviously we have the problem with the media. Every time there's a, I like to call them human shark interactions, because, you know, I know that it's not a shark attack per se.
Right.
It's, you know, and all of a sudden it's like there's so much bad negative wording attached to it, that
Right.
it's just sparks fear in everyone. And you know, and when I actually explain like the what is an exploratory bite, you know, why these incidents happen, like that we're not on the menu, and really give them that information, people, you can see people are really like, oh really, I didn't know that. No, because nobody tells you that, because media doesn't want you to know that, you know, because
Right.
they want to make a huge story out of it. And
Exactly. It's what
so
sells.
yeah, and so when I start to tell people about sharks and the actual facts about it, it really does make a difference. You know, I like to call them transformative experiences, because they are. And you don't get that from a YouTube video. You just
That's
don't.
true. I saw that you did a TEDx talk at one
Yeah,
time, which is wonderful. Congratulations on that.
thank
And
you.
you talked about the human nature connection. How do you see the connection playing a role in conservation with humans and the conservation with the wildlife and the marine life? How do you see a connection in there?
Well, like what I'm trying to do right now, what I do with a lot of tourists, a lot of locals, a lot of families, is that I bring them to specific areas where they can actually see wildlife in a conscious, experience it in a conscious manner. So, for example, today I took a family to swim with turtles. And we do it in a conscious manner. We follow the code of conduct. I give them like an hour class about the biology, the conservation, and everything. They get a whole world of knowledge about it. And then we go to the water, and then they're actually physically there, they're feeling the environment, they're seeing the animal in the wild, and they can actually experience the vulnerability of that animal, that ecosystem. And because yes, it's great to watch a documentary, and it's wonderful to read a book, and I love to have the kids in my classes, and they like to watch little videos of manta rays or coral reefs, but there's no substitute for actually getting people out there, because
Exactly.
they feel it. It's like all about the empathy of like evoking emotions in someone, and that's so much easier when they're in the environment.
That's true. And we protect what we love and understand. You can't really
And
love and understand on the computer through the internet, but when you get out there and you're physically with it, it just your whole idea of everything changes. So you're
yeah,
absolutely right. And we need more of that. We need more people out there getting in touch with nature, but correctly. That's the key word, is correctly.
yeah, because there's a lot of issues with bad tourism, wildlife tourism, and I'm working on an initiative right now to like really try to change that here.
But that would be the next question. You just led right into the next question, is tell me about some of your initiatives and your programs that you actually have through We Love the Sea.
Yeah, I mean, so I have my marine biology clubs for the kids. I do with the kids. I try to focus. What One thing that I think is really important is that the kids that understand the plastic issue. So every week we introduce, like, we have something to do with no más plástico, which it's like no more plastic. So we will, whatever I'm teaching them about, I'll try to bring a little bit of that in as well. And then we will always do a beach clean, always do a beach clean. And the kids, they're very into that, because we make it fun. We make everything fun. Everything we do is fun with the kids, but they really enjoy the fact that they're helping to clean up the beaches. We find ghost nets. We find, so many toothbrushes, lighters, and we put everything together, and then we go over like, what have we found here? Like, how long does that last? And and
That's
they're really shocked, and but it gives them more motivation to do it again the next week, and we make a bit of a competition out of it, and it's just wonderful because they are so motivated to do it. So that's one thing that I really like to focus on with the kids.
okay.
Another thing that I'm really working on right now is creating conscious wildlife experiences for tourists. So people that come here, they want to experience the beautiful environment of the Mexican Caribbean, but to do it in a way that they're not just going to see something and then leaving, but they're taking a whole load of information with them back home so that they can make changes in their daily life to help that species or that ecosystem, or whatever they come to see, and to make sure that they're not leaving a footprint behind,
Right.
because a lot of tourism, what we want is to get as close as possible, right? We want to get the selfie, or the best GoPro image, or videos to put on Facebook, Instagram, but we don't realize the impact that we're having on that animal. So what I focus on a lot of is telling them, like, if you get this close to this animal, this is what happens. Or if you wear sun cream in the ocean, this is what happens to the turtle, So yes, we go to see them, but they get a lot of information before and after, so that they can do these things with less impact, but with no impact if possible.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and I have like these cards, these laminated cards of like animals eating plastic, whale sharks eating plastic, leatherbacks eating plastic bags, and I show them, and very in like this is what happens, and yeah, so the
Wonderful.
parents as well have seen them, and they're like, oh, so
What are,
yeah.
what are a couple of your success stories with your students?
Uh, for sure,
Impact.
like yeah, I've worked with this school, Pointry School, and it's built on the edge of a kind of shanty town. Um, and I started a program with 15 of the kids, 15 of the kids, and it's very similar to what happened in South Africa. They were all scared. They were from outside of, I'm in Quintana Roo, and this shanty town is set up for families that come from outside of Quintana Roo to come and work in tourism. So they can be from very poor areas like Chiapas, Oaxaca, Tabasco, and they come and set up in these towns, and then the parents go to work in tourism, and the kids usually don't go to school. So this school was built so that kids had a school, and I started a program because the owner of the school was somebody I did a TED talk with. I met him through the TED talk, and so we started talking and was like, how can we work together? And so these 15 kids, when they turned up on the first water experience, and they were petrified, absolutely petrified. Their little faces were like, no. But I fundraised for life jackets for masks and tubes and stuff, and we got them in the water. And after a few months, they were really loving it, and then coming to class, and they were so motivated and drawing these beautiful posters, and
Wonderful.
and just being super enthusiastic about it. And so again, these kids, they get their fear from their parents,
Right. Exactly.
and
At the home.
yeah, and I find that and my kids here, the parents have started to come because the kids go home and talk to the parents about it,
Right.
and then all of a sudden the parents are like, "Ooh, this sounds like fun."
So yeah, that's wonderful. I mean, educating everybody and talking to everybody, especially the kids. When I used to work at a Sea Center, the kids' faces would just light up, and you don't realize how much of enjoyment you get from that until it happens. You don't even
Yeah.
think about it. And then you spread the word, and they tell more people, and it just explodes. But that's wonderful. What do you see in the future what would you like to see in the future for We Love the Sea?
Oh, I just want as many people to be involved as possible. I get messages constantly like, oh, we've heard about your project. People from that are coming in 6 months, and they're messaging me, oh, we've heard about We Love the Sea and we want to bring our kids. Can we book us in for 6 months? And I'm like, sure, but
That's
we'll
a good
still be here in
problem.
6 months.
That's a good problem. When people start contacting you and saying, talk to us, come here, we want to talk to you. That's wonderful. That means you're on
Yeah.
the right track, and you're doing the right thing. That's
Yeah,
fantastic.
no, it's great, but I also really want to work more on the wildlife tourism thing here, because it's a problem here in Mexico. So, well,
How
not just
so?
Mexico, just all over the world, I think. Like it just people just want to see the animal in any kind of way, and and they don't really understand that there's an alternative. We can do things better. We can
Exactly.
definitely do our research and look for better options. So I'm working with a guy right now, Rafa de la Para. He's been studying whale sharks here for 30 years, and he has a
Wow.
whole wealth of
Wow.
knowledge. Yeah, he's just a wonderful, wonderful man. And he's got a little project. And I'm partnering with him because we want to create some whale shark research experiences for families. So
Absolutely.
little kids can come and they can pretend to be a whale shark scientist for the day.
For a day,
And
exactly.
it's just very intimate, and it's not like one of these crazy experiences where there's a ton of people in the water and the poor whale sharks are just like completely freaked out. So I'm working on something with him, and then tomorrow I'm going to a place called San Blas to work with an organization called Blue Religion, and they are working with ex-shark fishermen, and now
Wow.
they're helping them develop their own ecotourism business. So instead of fishing sharks, now they're actually taking people out to see
Oh, that's
sharks.
wonderful.
And I love them kind of projects because you can't just tell somebody to stop shark fishing and not
Right.
give them an alternative, you know? So because they need to feed their families,
Right. That's
they,
their
you know,
livelihood. That's their
exactly.
livelihood. They have to find another alternative that's better.
Exactly. So these girls, I've been working with these fishermen for around a year, and now they're doing whale shark tours, and they're
Good.
looking for other spots so they can go shark diving. So what I'm going to do next week, I'm hoping this is going to be a collaboration that's going to continue, but I'm going to
Absolutely.
go, yeah, I'm going to go there next week and do a lot of workshops for the kids that are kids of the fishermen. So they're
Okay.
already involved in the project, and they're already starting to understand the importance of sharks, and they're working with the girls. So I want to go to all the schools in San Blas and just tell them all about how amazing sharks are. So I have a program for the whole week. So that's what I'm doing next week. And then obviously continuing with We Love the Sea, and just working on some school workshops, you know, and just as many activities as possible to get the kids in the water. So just, yeah, I want to take it global. I have
Wonderful.
big
Wonderful.
plans for We Love the Sea. I
That's
just
ex
need some money.
that's
There
exactly
we
our
are.
goals. We want to go global as big as Noah. So fantastic.
Yeah, thank
Well, thank you
you.
for sitting down with us today.
Yes,
This is
very
wonderful,
welcome.
wonderful information. It's good to hear that there's other people in other countries around the world that are willing and wanting to make a difference. If anybody wants to contact you or donate or help you out, what's the best way for them to get in touch with you?
Yeah, I have a website. It's welovetheseafoundation.org,
Okay,
or I have my Facebook page, We Love the Sea, and Instagram as well, We Love the Sea. So any of them, any of them.
fantastic, fantastic.
Yeah,
Well, we'll definitely send people your way, and I hope
thank
this
you.
leads into a collaboration down the road. I think we'd be fantastic working together. I'd love to learn more about you and hear what all you're doing. I want to
Thank
thank
you so
everybody for joining us
much.
today. Thank you, Ocean Warriors. I hope you learned a lot, and know that no matter where you are in the world, you too can make oceans a difference. Thanks, everyone, and we'll talk to you later. Bye. Thank you, Angie.